So I felt compelled to touch on this story in my local area. Now, I mean, again, is this a true fact or not? Who the freak knows at this point? But it was covered on mypanhandle.com. All right. Charges dismissed for 2 people accused of drug trafficking in Fort Walton Beach, Florida. Well, what do you know? That's where I live. For entertainment purposes only. Charges have been dismissed against a woman and a man accused of drug trafficking while visiting Fort Walton Beach. Fort Walton Beach, Florida is where I live. In February, the Fort Walton Beach Police Department and Okaloosa County Sheriff's Office coordinated and arrested Antonio Hughes and Cheyenne Hirschfeld. Body camera footage from the arresting officer showed the officer described at the time as 17 grams of paraphernalia and 17 grams of fentanyl. All right. However, get this. What the so-called drugs turned out to be was a powder used to make herbal tea drinks and Himalayan salt rocks. All right. This was during that 2 weeks because she was in jail for 2 weeks. All right. She lost her job. I was unable to call the office or have anyone do so for me. So I had a no call, no show. That is not my character at all. Well, I know that, but it don't really matter. What matters is it's not about the facts, you see, because it took them, let's see, this transpired back in February, but they just couldn't seem to get their drug testing all together to realize that it was herbal tea and Himalayan salt. Right? Until, what was it? Well, we are in September now, right? That they have been dismissed. And so she lost a nursing contract, which in return lost $50,000. I would have been finished in May. See, that's the irony of the world we live in, because it was stamped, signed, and sealed by who was it again? Let me just make sure. Fort Walton Beach Police Department and Okaloosa Sheriff's Department. Because they signed, stamped, and sealed, it must be true and correct, right? And well, let me tell you something in reference to my ordeal. Because so-and-so and so-and-so said so-and-so, then it must be stamped, sealed, and approved that this is all true. But they spent 2 years trying to corroborate everything they said was true behind the scenes, to where nobody recognized that actually everything they are saying, they were the ones doing. And why do you think God was like, Amanda, run? Run. You know, that 5-hour conversation that I remember having verbatim. The last day I ever saw my boss. And then his wife came in and did all the wheeling and dealing when she had nothing to do with the company. All of a sudden, she was the one corroborating everything and now communicating with me. Not him. Things that make you go, huh? Right? Here's where you messed up. My little message to you is you involved my son. That's where you went wrong. Nobody talks to anybody's child the way you talked to mine that day. Do you understand? And nobody does what you've done to me and my son and think that I ain't gonna fight. So, like I told my coworker earlier, what is my will? My son. Principal for him. That's it. Principal for my son. You completely have demolished the 2 years that I actually wanted to rebuild my relationship with him based off the 8 years that I gave your company. Anyways. And you know what I'm saying. So yeah. It's crazy. At this point in the venture, you don't need facts. It's all about who says what? What's the narrative? And what is their position? What is their title? How much money have they got? How much pull do they got? Who knows so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so? What party are you a part of? Poppy T, Poppy D. You know? It's crazy. It's crazy. It's all a money thing. I was sitting outside, smoking a cigarette. And when I go outside at my office, I go all the way to the dumpsters. And there was two gentlemen. They were with another, a service company or whatever. And they're like, do they ask you to smoke over here? I was like, nah. I said, I don't mind hanging out in the dumpsters. It gets stuffy over there. I'm good hanging out in the dumpsters. Absolutely. How did Jesus slept with his disciples on the ground every day. I'm good hanging at the bottom. I'll go hang out at the dumpsters all day, every day. I'll jump in a dumpster and dumpster dive with anybody. I'm not above anybody. But here's the difference. Nobody's above me. Now, whether you can out-talk me, get creative with the words and the manipulation and the gaslighting and all that. Yeah, you got all that. You got all that, baby. But what you're not going to do is make me think that you're superior to me when we both follow the same God. The same God is our God. Jesus died on the cross for both you and I. Period. And so because I know that, I embody it, call it what you may. And I know that I'm probably on my last leg. I'll put my backup account. This got kind of a little feisty, but yeah, I saw that. My coworker's like, that's such a shame. She's probably never going to get her life back or get, whatever he said, restitution. I'm like, man, it's not. And that's what I said to him. That's exactly when I said it to him. I was like, it's not even about restitution at this point. It's just about the principle for my son. That's it. Money, all that. I want none of that. It's just restitution. I want my name back and to be cleared, and I want everything you've done to me and my son to just, And these are people that have kids. So call it what you may. Call it what you may. Never in my life would I talk to another person's child the way that my son was talked to the day that I went in, had that 5-hour conversation to see if they were actually going to do right by me for fucking once. And they didn't. So instead they got my son on the phone and told my son, let me just reiterate what they told him. That he needed to quit soccer. He needed to get a job. He needed to return the suit that I bought him. And he needed to step up because he was breaking his mother's back. That was what was said to my son by the boss of my company. So I want to make sure we're all clear on the discrepancies of the story, because that is a big no-no. Big no-no. That crosses so many human resources laws, but Lord knows we can't get that out there, because I tried that with EEOC and that was a joke. But they're very, very prominent people. They got a lot of money and they got a lot of pull. So I'll just keep hanging out at the dumpsters. And we'll keep walking this out with Jesus and God. God sees everybody's hearts. He sees everybody's intentions. He sees everybody's plans. He sees everybody's ploys. And while in the minute you think oh yeah, we're good. We got a fast one. We're going to be fine. In different ways, people are seeing that with Charlie Kirk. All those that wanted to meet him with his demise. They're seeing it. 100%. They are. They're floating in their boots right now. That I can feel the tensions all day, baby. All day. I saw that same plane. I have not seen that plane since the day Charlie died, and I saw it 3 times today. I'm like, oh my gosh. So I immediately started praying for Charlie and for Candace, because that girl needs protection. She needs serious protection. And so I'd be getting her on the prayers for sure.